Greetings one and all. How's everyone doing? I hope you guys are well. It is May 20th. So, on a gorgeous day, sunny, shiny, birds are chirping. I'm at my usual park. So, I just put out a video. Maybe I need a bigger pack. And what I wanted to do today was I recreated the pack from watching my video, and I've made a list of everything that was in there. What I thought I'd do today, even though you have already seen all the gear, is I thought I'd do a breakdown and kind of weigh things out. Because someone was asking me about weight, but I don't have a scale to weigh it. Now I made a list. This is everything that was in the pack, which I'll go over. And you guys have already seen this, but I thought I'd do is weigh it and maybe kind of explain why I had this few things. Now naturally I always have my EDC, my knife, my multi-tool. This stuff goes with me everywhere I go. Oh yeah, my flashlight. Always with me, every time. No, this is always on my person. So, it's a must. And what does it weigh? I don't care. Okay, so I had the saw and the BK7. Let's see if we can get a better angle here for you. Sorry, it wouldn't be one of my videos without camera wiggle. So the saw is 9 5/8 ounces, which is worth its weight as far as I'm concerned. The BK7 weighs 1 pound 2 3/8 ounces. That's with sheath. I never go anywhere with it. Someone has suggested I leave my knives and just take a folder. I never go anywhere without my BK7. Ever. I had some beef jerky, which I'm not going to weigh it because I ate some of it. I had the sesame oil for my ramen, which was 2 3/4 ounces. Not very much. I had a little tripod, which was 4 1/8 ounces. I never used it, but it would have been nice to have. Then there was my titanium pot, which someone suggested I leave. It's 8 1/4 ounces. And inside I had a bag of drink mixes and a spare lighter. So that's 3 1/4 ounces, which I could have left like probably more than half of this home. I could have left some of the hot chocolate at home. I had a bunch of tea in here. I could have just taken a bag or two. So, you know, maybe 2 drink mixes, which had to fall on the freaking ground. And maybe I don't know, a few things of sugar. So I could have reduced it down to 1 ounce and 1/8. But I also had a buddy with me too, and it's kind of uncool to sit there and have beverages and whatnot and drink it in front of them, you know. So it would have been nice to have been able to offer them, hey, would you like some hot chocolate? Would you like some tea? Would you like something, a drink mix? So that's that, you know. It's 8 ounces. Why not? Alright. I had my headband. Oh, it's 6 5/8 ounces. It's nice to have. I had this mesh bag, which is only 7/8 of an ounce. And I had this carabiner, which pops it up to 3. And I was going to use this one, which is a lot lighter, at 1 5/8 ounces. And the idea, like I said, because the rain wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, I could have stuffed my rain shell into the mesh bag and just hung it on the pack with the carabiner. So that's why I had this with me. Then I had my cotton balls, which were 1 7/8 ounces. I had all my paracord, which was 7.5 ounces. Now, someone suggested less fat wood, but I only had 2 sticks with me, and they were 3 ounces. So 3 ounces of fire starting is not, in my opinion, not bad. I had all my silverware, which admittingly I could have left at home, at least one of them. I just kind of threw it in there. Maybe a bad call. But, you know, those 4 pieces of silverware were only 1 7/8 ounces, so just under 2 ounces. So that's not very much weight. So, but I could have just gone with just these 2 at 7/8 of an ounce. But I was gonna bring a Mountain House meal, but I didn't have room in the pack for it. Which is why I had the measuring cup, because it was from Mountain House. So it would have been only 5/8 of an ounce. So for the very small amount of weight, I say it's worth it. Now, someone suggested leaving the tent stakes behind, but they only weigh 2 1/4 ounces. So they don't have, you know, not much weight at all for these. They're very lightweight, and it'd be really handy, you know, when you're pulling your tarp down or putting your tarp up. Because I had plenty of cordage, so probably too much cordage. Then I had my Rite in the Rain pad, 2 1/4 ounces. I mean, it adds up. My tourniquet, which is only 2 1/4. Then there's the kind of a mistake with this, and that is I had too much fire. I had both of these kits, and I should have just left one. But this is 2 pounds, 1 3/8 ounces. So almost 2 pounds, 2 ounces. Which is a lot of fire. Which I hadn't really intended on bringing that much fire stuff. Like, I didn't need the magnifying. I mean, this is a mini inferno. I could have left one of these at home, because I had a live fire as well. My fire kit. The live fire. Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me. Magnifying glass could have stayed at home because it was raining all the time and we were in the forest and there was no sunshine, so it could have stayed. In fact, this whole pouch, which is 14 and excuse me. Wow, I must be allergic to making videos. So 14 ounces could have stayed home. So that would have shaved off a pound. I'll make a separate pile of stuff that could have stayed. Not the most graceful video today, but let's see. Oh yeah. Well, actually, let's go over this real quick. This is the Strike Force could have stayed home. So it was 3 1/8 ounce. That could have stayed home easy. This would have come along anyway. At 15.5 ounces. Because I had my dryer lint, which I've shown on video, which burns really well, and it weighs 1/4 ounce. And then there's Mark's cotton balls, gel wax cotton balls, which weigh 1.5 ounces. Then I had my ferro rod scraper and magnesium, which was 6.5 ounces, and 2 trioxane bars, which 7/8 of an ounce. And then I think I just threw this in there, but my buddy Grant gave me this bag of magnesium shavings at 1/8 of an ounce. Oh, then I had a Live-Fire Sport as well, which is only 3/8 of an ounce. So I had a lot of fire, which, you know, I make videos, obviously, so I want to bring stuff to make videos, and if I was out there, I want to have a good amount of fire with me, and sure fire, and some redundancies with my fire kit. It's just I didn't need the 2 of them, and I didn't need the Strike Force, so that could have stayed. This could have gone, or I could have put everything in the leather pouch as well. So either way, I had a few too many granola bars. So 5 ounces. Pair of gloves, you know, what, 1 ounce, 1 1/8. Compass is 2.5 ounces. Now gloves, I think there's 4 pairs in here. You know, if I come across a hiker who's hurt, I could glove up so I don't worry about getting my hands infected. So I would say that was a good thing to have. Okay. Then there's some questionable items. I had a rain poncho at 8 1/4 ounces. I never used it, but it's one of those hunch items it'd probably be nice to have. I brought it. I didn't use it, but it would have been nice to have. So for its weight, what I say, 8 3/4, I think it would be worth it. And someone said, well, ditch the pack towel. Well, it was raining. You know, pack towel would have been nice to clean up, dry off, and it's microfiber, so it would have dried quick, and it only weighs 1.5 ounces, so I'd say it's, for how little it weighs, worth the wait. And there's my canteen, which at 9 1/4 ounces, but I really like having the canteen with me. So I would say it stays because I like having it. So 2 pieces of cookware. Now I have my cook pot, which I cooked ramen in, and I'm gonna have that video out hopefully soon. But I had a little ridiculous on the food, but I had 2 of these, 2 of the cheaper ones, and then 2 things of soup mix. And that was 1 pound and 1/8 of an ounce. So I had a pound of food. Also the sesame oil with the container, 1 pound and a 3. So I had, you know, plenty of food for the night. I could have just put this in. I don't think 1 pound of food is too much. I mean, yeah, it was a day hike, but I was also prepared to spend a night. Toilet paper, worth its weight in gold. 2 ounces. I'm going to use a bit right now. On my nose. Alright, sorry about that. And then the tarp with the, this is just a piece of cut plastic or cut tarp, and it's basically my sitting. So 1 pound, 15 ounces. So almost 2 pounds, but you know, it's a cover element. So I would not get rid of the cover. Then there's this you've seen a number of times. It weighs probably the heaviest, because shelter typically is heaviest. 4 pounds, 5 ounces. I'm going to open this up and break it down here in a second. But I had my Pelican case with my batteries in it, which I've had someone ask me why I have it in this case. Well, because I don't want the batteries to get crushed. Because if I ruin the batteries, I can't film. Unless someone can suggest another container. So 15 ounces. So 1 pound for this, but it's I have to carry it because I have to be able to film. So without batteries, there's no videos. And then there's my first aid kit, which a lot of you guys said should carry one. 10 ounces, 10 1/4 ounces. A few things. I haven't really done anything with it. I could probably fine tune it, add a little, take a little. But it has some painkiller in here. It has some tape in here, some crazy glue in here, some chapstick in here, some bandages in here. Like I said, Chris Kane gave me this. Some moleskin in there. And honestly, I've never needed a first aid kit. Knock on wood. But you know, it might not just be for me too. It could be for the guy you're with or somebody you come across. Oh, yeah, and then I had bear spray. So it was 11 ounces. Yeah, it's 11 ounces, but you know, pick one. Mauled by bear or 11 ounces. So you'd probably never run into a bear. It's only when you leave it at home is when you're going to have trouble. I realized I forgot to weigh this. Um, 15 and a half ounces, so almost 1 pound just for this. But it's cookware, so now I think that's everything. I had another Troxane. Little redundancy for fire. So the pack weighs, I don't know if you're doing the math, but the pack's about 3 pounds. I'll have to put it in the description because I wrote it on an index card, but I forgot the card. So, this is probably going to be a long video, and I do apologize. But let's break down. Oh yeah, did I mention on cotton balls? Now I've shown this a bunch of times. Your shelter system's always going to be your heaviest. Oh yeah, I had bank line in here too. So this is 1 pound, 5/8 of an ounce. But I could break it down into hanks, but I think with a lot of people, like I have that problem where I don't want to cut it just yet. So, because I don't want to cut it, the sacrifice is I got to carry it. But all in all, I think this pack, you know, I really got to get a scale for this pack. Like I had some duct tape. So 3 ounces, 3.5 ounces. I had a combat gauze in here. My buddy Matt gave me. Again, first aid might not be for you. Weighs like nothing. 3/4 of an ounce. Then there's the 2 trash bags, 12 ounces, 12.5 ounces. Now this is my ground cover. Now I have 2 bags because I'm 6'1", so I want to make sure that it's going to go my full length. But you can also have, these also have multiple uses. You can fill them full of stuff. You can put smalls in here, firewood in here. I've seen guys putting firewood in here. I could fill it full of boughs and all, you know, litter or leaf litter if I had any, ferns, whatever, to try to make it as soft as possible. And I've been talking about, I got to do an outing where I'm going to sleep with just this system. So then I have my Life Straw, which is only 1 5/8 of an ounce. 1 5/8. No, 1 3/4. I could probably cut off all of the string and get rid of all the crap to lighten it down, but basically the idea behind this is if I can't get a fire going, I can at least get a drink and hydrate. So I can stop, dip the cup in, drink, fill up on water, and then get a fire going with all my fire stuff. So, oh, I guess I had this too, I forgot. The trauma wound dressing. How much was it? 2 5/8. I had my buddy Matt just got out of the Army actually. Thank you for your service, Matt. But he gave me this reflective, I guess you can crawl into it. I haven't pulled it all out yet. So for its weight, 2 1/8, a little redundancy. And then I've shown this before. So 8 5/8, and then the blanket is 11 3/8. So pound 4 ounces. Well, 1 pound 4 5/8 ounces. The idea is you crawl into this with this over you, because I don't think this is going to keep you warm. Because all it is it's just I'm going to do an outing with this. All it is, it's a mummy bag liner. So the idea is I'm going to crawl into this and then use the blanket over me to hopefully keep warm and not freeze. And I probably will have a fire going, but you know, when you're asleep, your fire is going to go out. But like I said, I'm gonna get out and I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna sleep out with just this and the space blanket. So that's going to happen. So these two together, and then I'm gonna string up the tarp over the top of both of these. So the green tarp will go over the space blanket and this. So these two hopefully will keep me warm. These will keep me off the wet ground. And then this will go overhead and keep the rain off of me. So yeah, then I have, you know, the dry bag, which I can fill with water. I can keep my sleeping gear dry. So that's kind of the breakdown. So if we go over now, if you watch the Wilderness Outfitters channel like I do, and you know about the 10 C's, I feel like I'm covered except for canvas needle. So I have my cutting tools. Oh, you know what? I forgot a pouch. I forgot. I have my gloves, which gloves are 5 7/8. But for protecting your hands, worth the wait. I had my Mora, which rides on my belt. My Mora block at 7 5/8 ounces. And then I just threw it in there more out of habit. You've seen this plenty of times. My Mora, which is only 3 3/4 of an ounce. So I forgot I had another pouch. I think I'm, you know, so I have my cutting tools, which I always carry extra. I had my cover, so ground and body, and then something to crawl into. Guess you couldn't see that. So, cutting tool, cover, container. Also cover. I would even consider gloves a cover because they're covering your hands. And, you know, a bad cut on your hand. Cargo tape. Then I have candle with spare batteries, only 2. I had combustion and plenty of it. Like I said before, just because I'm filming doesn't mean I'm a professional. I'm totally an amateur at this. I've never had class. I've never taken class. I'm only just seeing what people do on video and then doing what they're doing or trying my own thing. So I had probably too much cordage, but you know, cordage. More cover. First aid. Calories. Some fat wood. If I wanted to take notes. I mean, let's see. Stuff that probably could have stayed home. Toilet paper is kind of a must. I mean, yeah, there are leaves, but if you've seen my other videos on walking around the woods, there really aren't that many leaves. And I like knowing that I have it. So, depending on the food I bring, I have the longer spoon for Mountain House, and I could probably just go with just these 3. Now I do have a spork, but it's plastic. I mean, this is plastic too, but it's one of those light my fire. Fork on one side, spoon on the other. It was like $3, but I have it at home. So these 3 would come. I could leave one spoon behind. The note, you know, these 2. How much these 2 weigh again? You know, 2 1/4 ounces. Kind of a judgment call. I mean, do you need it? No. So I could have left those at home. I could have saved 4 ounces and left the Ultrapod. Bear spray is kind of a judgment call. I like knowing I can ward off bears if need be. First aid. You know, gotta be able to film, so that has to come. The camera's got to come along. And I do have a needle I found that I'm going to show it in a separate video. But I'm going to start bringing it along with me. And then I usually always have a cotton bandana, which I throw in my cargo pocket, but I forgot to grab one. And I actually have forgotten them before. I need to throw one in my dry bag, like in here, and leave it in there. So yeah, that's everything. So I think, you know, once you consider how much this stuff will be needed, I don't think it's all that much. I mean, I could probably leave these two behind, save 8 ounces. I probably could have just only carried 2 hanks of paracord and left the rest. Plus I had all this bank line, which I could have, realistically, I could have just chucked all the paracord and just taken the bank line. So, you know, tarp is needed. First aid is hopefully never needed. But even in my whole first aid is I mean, it's 14 ounces for everything first aid related. So it's my first aid kit, the combat gauze, the wound dressing, and then the gloves. Which, you know, do you really need gloves? Why not have them for how little they weigh? But also there's the Gorilla Tape too, so that could also be used for first aid. And if I had my bandana, I could just stick the bandana down, tape it over, and then, you know, get the hell out of there. So, and then maybe even the toilet paper, you just grab some, fold it tight, press it on a wound, then maybe tape it down. I mean, hell, even if you've eaten one of these, you could probably even use the wrapper to cover and then tape it down. So, just how clever you are. I don't think it's too much stuff. But the problem I was having is, you know, where do I put extra clothing? Like, now, actually, I'll turn the camera. Make sure I'm in range. Let's see. Sorry for the camera wiggle. So everything I'm wearing right now is what I was wearing on the trip. So I had my 511 rain shell because it was raining. Very lightweight coat, keeping the rain off of you. So I had this on. So I was covered for rain. I really like this coat. The only thing I don't like is these Velcro parts when you're unzipping. Like, it'll come down where it's Velcroed and you'll get stuck. You know, minor complaint. So the coat. Then I was wearing this t-shirt. Of course, I always had my hat on, my Pendleton wool hat. Then I had my Nuttin' Fancy shirt, which I know a lot of people hate them, but then underneath it, I had on this cheapy Rothco 100% polyester t-shirt, which I always wear these as a base because they dry really quick. And actually I bought 3 of these, just the same size and style, because, you know, I'm out in the woods, so I don't care if all the shirts look the same. So I had just these 2 on, but when I hiked up, I was just drenched in sweat, and everything was wet because it was raining. And so, while standing in front of the fire, you know, I was actually getting cold. You know, I was probably 2 feet in front of the fire with my shell on, and I was and I was chilly. Like, I was really cold. Because this is not a warming layer. This is just a layer to keep the rain off. But I was, you know, I probably had the fire 2 feet in front of me, and now it's cold. And my shirts were soaked to sweat, which they would have dried eventually. But, you know, it didn't help me immediately. So if I had a couple extra shirts I could have changed into, I would have been better off. That's kind of why I was questioning, do I need a bigger pack? Now some guys had said, well, you know, if you have a bigger pack, then you're just going to fill it with more gear. Well, not necessarily, because I feel like I'm pretty covered in gear. I mean, everything here has a purpose. I mean, granted, there are a few comfort items in here. Some things, a few luxury items. I mean, do I need... Oh, God damn it. Do I need to drop everything? You know, do I need sesame oil for my noodles? No. No, I don't. Is it nice to have? Yeah, because it tasted good. And it's only, what did I say it weighed? 2 1/8 of an ounce. So it's not, it doesn't weigh very much. And I had a buddy with me too, so I could have, you know, given him some. I could have put a lot less in there, but for the 2 ounces, And these were kind of the discarded items. The maybes. You know, the extra fire kit. Sorry, camera. The extra fire kit I could have left. The strike force I could have left. I don't know about this. This was just sort of a, you know, do I bring it? Do I not? It doesn't weigh much. If I could have found my other carabiner, I would have brought it instead. So, but actually, I always bring this with me because I always throw all my dirty laundry in here. Just a mesh bag from REI. I throw all my dirty laundry in here when I'm out. So when I change my socks, change my t-shirt, I just throw it in here. So that's why I had it. The jerky probably could have come along. You know, this and this. You know, judgment call. I brought them anyway, but the paracord. Probably wouldn't have been a bad idea to have a couple of Hanks in there, maybe just 2. Because, you know, really it doesn't weigh a ton. The spoon, yeah. The tent stakes, you know, they don't weigh much, and they don't take up a lot of room either. So, another maybe. This, not really needed. Pack towel, you know, for the weight, why not throw it in there? So yeah, I really didn't cut that much. So, even the pack towel is still up for question, but I mean, because it was wet, it'd been nice to have been able to dry off. You know, it packs down pretty small, and it dries fast because it's microfiber. So, I don't think I'm really carrying too elaborate of stuff. I mean, some guys like to go out in the woods and they say, well, I never take food with me, but I don't hunt or trap, so not taking food is really not an option for me. I always carry it. I mean, all this was only a pound, so I call that good weight, because, you know, I have 4 meals right there, plus the snack bars and the jerky. So I had plenty of calories. I mean, that was only an overnight trip. Actually, it wasn't even an overnight trip. It was just a day hike. But I could have stayed the night with what I had, which I will do, and I'll get it on video for you guys. So there we go. I'm still thinking I need a bigger pack. I was actually looking at the discard pile. Kind of wondering how much weight I'd shave. Video's getting kind of long, but see if I can pile all this on here. Of course, you had to fall off. I think I'd keep this just for that particular day. Because it would have been nice to be able to store, but I only shaved off, if I left this behind too, I mean, I only shaved off 2.5 pounds. 2 pounds 6 ounces, 2 pounds 6 5/8 ounces is all I would have shaved. Oh, I guess you're not really in camera, so I could have shaved off this. Which, you know, looking at the bulk of the pile, maybe I could have, I probably could have replaced this stuff with maybe a few clothing items, just because of the mass. But I guess we'll see. It's still a learning process for me. Alright. Well, thanks for watching. I'm going to link a bunch of videos in the description, so you guys can go check that out. I'm going to put the original pack that I made, the original video with what I had in here, so you guys, I don't know, maybe compare. Yeah. Appreciate you watching, appreciate your views, your comments. You know, your comments is why I made this video, because I wanted to kind of do the breakdown and show you guys what I've got going on. And, you know, some things that were suggested getting rid of, maybe why I carried it. And I've got to get out and do an overnighter with this loadout. You know, I'm gonna do, so it will happen. So keep an eye out for that, and take it easy, guys.